sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With EcoBank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as EcoBank mobile app, EcoBank online and EcoBank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the EcoBank mobile app. Open the EcoBank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via EcoBank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to EcoBank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any EcoBank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
On Monday, the 22nd of June 2026, you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. The time in the Gambia is 13 minutes past 9 o'clock in the morning. Our second guest is Mr. Lamin Manneh, Assistant Administrative Secretary, responsible for external affairs for the UDP, the Gambia's biggest opposition party, the United Democratic Party. Mr. Manneh has been a vocal critic of President Barrow's government, raising concerns about corruption, about debt overhang, and about service delivery. He's also been deeply engaged in coalition talks and has strong views on voter registration and the country's current talking point, the power crisis, even though it has started improving. So this morning he joins us to share the UDP's perspective on governance, on reform, and of course on the future of the Gambia. Lamin, the man from that school I don't want to mention. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Happy to be back here. This is long overdue. I was going to think, what's the Saints guys doing? What have we done?
Well, you went to the wrong school. We look out for one another. And
I saw that. I saw that. Larry was here so many times. Okay, you guys are doing an old boys thing, It's all right, okay.
Let's start with...
Good to be back, my friend.
Let's start with, the one thing everybody has their eyes on. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the voters talk of coalition, an opposition coalition, and you hear different things. One is saying, oh no, without me leading, there's no chance. Can you start by telling us, what's the state of these discussions?
Thanks, Peter, and I'm glad to be back here, and the coalition talks are going well. Like, most issues where you deal with so much in terms of interest, in terms of personalities, etc., they are difficult. But we are making a lot of headway. We had come up with a formula where we have a group of non-partisan, at least for as much as possible, people to lead the coalition talks. So none of the political parties and movements are leading the discussion. We set up a team, which we call the coalition management team, So they do the mediation, they chair the meetings, they write the reports and publish it. And they've been doing a very good job.
Okay.
So we said we would defer to them in terms of communications. They would communicate on behalf of the coalition, not to have a cacophony at one point. But I think I can happily say that we are making a lot of progress.
Okay. And how many parties are involved? Is it every opposition party, every movement in the opposition, or...?
Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. I think we have, if I remember correctly, we have 8 or 9 political parties.
Okay.
And then we have about a dozen movements join. All in all, we have about 20, 21 political entities sitting in that hall for the past 2 months and negotiating. There are times when it was a bit tense, and then we move ahead, and then say, okay, we'll agree to disagree for today, we'll come back next week and continue. So we've been doing that since April 18th, I think, 2 months now. And we're beginning to find some common ground and agreeing on a number of things and the way forward. Because for a long time there had been this sort of dichotomy between party-led and candidate-led. So that was a bit of a sticking point. Of course, UDP, we are in for party-led. So they say, no, we want candidate-led. So we were negotiating that. And I think for a long time there was a misunderstanding when some people thought that when you say party-led, it would mean that UDP would come with its party agenda and programs and implement it, period. And everybody has to bend to that rule, which is actually a misnomer.
Okay.
Because when you say party-led, UDP will come and would provide the party, the flag bearer for the coalition, but the program will be a coalition program. The only thing is that the UDP leader would be a part of the coalition flag bearer, but the program would be decided by the coalition and implemented by UDP and the coalition team. Okay. So that was the misunderstanding for a long time that had, stalled progress.
Okay. The unambiguous issue is that for the UDP to be part of a coalition, that coalition has to be led by its leader.
That is our position, and that is what we negotiated. And, it's a negotiation, it's a give and take. Okay. So for a long time, there was such misunderstanding, but I think people are beginning to come to understand the idea, thought that we are not saying if UDP leads, it's going to be... Because I think that was a sticking point. A number of people thought that when we lead, we will impose our programs and our policies. So the last meeting, I think I made a lot of progress on that and made it clear that it doesn't mean that if UDP leads, it's a UDP program, period. No. It's a candidate coming from UDP, and the program will be a coalition program, and it's going to be implemented by a coalition team and the UDP together to move forward. That was what we finally got to understand, and that helped a lot.
Because there are a lot of people who are listening there now, yelling at their radio sets and eventually their screens. Why does it have to be the UDP leader as the flag bearer of any coalition arrangement that the UDP is part of?
Very good. Thank you, Peter. And that's very important because, the reason why in a coalition is we're trying to get numbers. Politics is a game of numbers.
It is, yes.
And we need to get the party with the biggest numbers to be part of the coalition to move. Otherwise, we're just wasting time. And I think everybody in that room, understands that we need to get the numbers to remove Barrow. It is clear to some of us that with or without a coalition, it's possible to beat Barrow because it's so unpopular these days. But it will be even better if we can have a coalition of people, because whoever wins in 2026, December 5th, will have to work with every son and daughter of this country. If you want a government that's going to function properly, that's going to achieve results, you must be inclusive. Bring in all the talents from wherever they are, in politics or not, within the country and without. You have to bring in every talent. And to be able to do that, you must be open. So if you have a coalition that you work with, already you've widened the base. You've cast the net far and wide. So you can bring in a lot of people to help build the country, because we are going to have to do a lot of hard work to move this country from where we are. And that requires the talent of the Gambians. We have a lot of talent inside the country and a lot outside in the diaspora. Bring everybody on board, and then we build this country. So that's what we're trying to do. And now today, UDP has the biggest political base in the country. They know that. So
among the opposition, or
even including NPP. NPP knows that.
The UDP base is bigger than that of the NPP.
Yes, they know that. They would, of course, say kick against that, but that's the truth. Their base is shrinking. People are suffering in this country, and they are beginning to see that this government will not cut it. So they are moving to UDP. We're getting that all the time. So when that time comes, UDP will have to reach out far and wide because we have a lot to do. The first year or two in this country with a new government is going to be extremely hard work.
Okay. Before the first year or two, you have to get into office first.
Yeah, we will.
So the UDP is still confident that it can win
Absolutely.
on its own.
Absolutely.
You welcome a coalition, yes, because it will,
Because that's what we want to do. That's what we are all about. We want to unite the country. And there's no better way of uniting the country than having a coalition even before you get to power. And what we can do as a team, UDP, we will do better when we have other people with us. The victory will be bigger. The inclusivity will be much more handsome for this country. And that's what we want to do, because we want to unite this country.
Okay.
Without that, we're going nowhere.
Okay. So in other words, the other parties that are negotiating, coalition arrangement with you had better just stay on, because without them, you could still go there and beat Barrow on the 5th of December.
We believe we can, but, we respect them and their position, so we do not actually often say such a thing. We say, because other parties probably could win too, but we know that we can win. But the important thing at this point is that we put that possibility aside and look at what a collective can do. You imagine your coalition today with UDP, with GDC, with PAP, with ADD, with GANU, etc. And all those people are on board. We have all of those people coming together, plus any other parties that are there out there. There are a lot there. SFL, APP Sobea, PPP.
They are all part of the current negotiations.
Yes. PPP was not there for a long time, but they've joined too. We have all of those parties. They are all in there. We're all negotiating. Plus a lot of political movements and civil society organizations. So we're doing a lot. We have currently about 21 political entities in there. And last Saturday, we were told that a few more, about close to 8 or 10 out there still also want to join. So it's growing. Because people see the momentum and they see the positive leaning of these coalition talks. Yes, they are tough negotiations. Yes, we sometimes agree to disagree. We argue a lot. But that's part of the whole thing. I just say it's like a plant growing. You have the gravitropic phase where the roots are going deep in to anchor the plant and going to get nutrients and water. That part is difficult for the roots to break through. That gravitropic phase is difficult. But once that's done, the phototropic phase starts and the leaves come above ground. There's no resistance, there's no pressure, and we're getting gradually to that phase. We are passing the gravitropic phase and moving to the phototropic phase, and I think we will hear a lot more coming in the coming weeks. Our objective is to get to the selection of a candidate and announcing to the country on the 11th of July.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why the 11th of July? What's the significance of the date?
Not really, because it was just the timetable we drew up.
Oh, okay.
That by that time, it's about 3 months.
No significance to the time?
No, nothing in particular. Because the coalition's talk started on the 18th of April. We look at about 3 month period in which we try to finish this.
Okay.
And then if we do that on the 14th, we hope to have a general, meeting with everybody to present the candidate and present to the Gambia, and then we hit the road now for the campaign.
You think you'll have something to announce on the 11th of
I believe we
July?
will. I believe we will.
Okay.
There's a lot of positive
we're all looking forward
attitude.
to the 11th of July.
Yeah. And
in the meantime, Barrow thinks if you people are sure of yourselves, face him individually. Don't try to coalesce. Huh? Even though he forgets that
Isn't that ironical? Because he has a coalition. That's the irony of Barrow. He has a coalition and he's trying to do what he can. I heard him last weekend, a couple of days ago in Brigham, saying to his coalition, we've got to stay together, we've got to be together, we've got to fight together, Really? So you want the opposition to come alone? I mean, he's not scared of UDP, but he knows that we can beat
it's the UDP he's scared of.
Particularly because, when Barrow goes out to talk, it's UDP, Ousainou Darboe. Last time I heard him at least talk about other people, he said, it's a coalition of vice presidents, All of them are old and I will beat them. 3 of them were my vice presidents. One was from Sadauda's time, and, come on. We are not looking at, those games. We are looking at how to save this country from him because the buck stops with Barrow. All the problems of this country are with Barrow. Funnily, I heard him say, UDP said they're going to make sure that everybody eats properly in this place. There's nobody who's hungry in this country. I said, really? That much?
Isn't he right? Are there hungry people in this country?
Come on. Very clear. Everybody knows that, Peter. You're pushing me
no,
there.
I haven't seen them. Where are they? I'd like to go and see hungry people.
You see, the cognitive dissonance with Barrow is just amazing. Most of the people, particularly in this Greater Banjul area, have one main meal in the afternoon. In the mornings, whatever you can put together, you get for the kids to go to school. In the evening, you manage what you can. People are suffering. Peter, when you're on a salary of $4,000, $5,000 a month, and you have to buy a bag of rice, and you have to pay for transportation to go to work, what do you have left to buy fish, meat, or any other thing? Not to talk about paying your rent, paying for electricity, etc. How do you survive? People are scraping. People are suffering in this country, but of course Barrow has been cushioned against all of that and he's living in his cocoon. He doesn't know what's happening in this country. If you think people are not suffering in this country, are not hungry in this country, you better wake up. Because I'm sure a number of people would have heard and said, we'll come for you. You think we are living well? He's living on a $500,000 salary a month from which he has no expenditure. And we give him $150,000 a day for food.
Oh no, they've contested that.
They
will say UDP
they will keep saying that. They will keep saying that, but they know it's true. When it gets out, they say, well, no, it's not just for Barrow, but it includes the state guard, it includes this. That's the truth. They know it. They keep trying to spin it. Instead of spinning it, the best thing would be to cut that out. We do not need to give $4.5 million to a president for food in a month when the average Gambian is struggling. It's wrong. We don't need to give him $500,000 salary from which he pays nothing, absolutely nothing. We give him everything, to the toothpaste and toothbrush. So he doesn't need that kind of salary.
How much should he be earning?
Ousainou Darboe said when he comes to power, the first thing he will do is slash that salary. Half of that salary should be enough for any president.
Okay,
in this
so
country.
250.
No, I'm not saying that's going to be the amount, but somewhere around that, even 200,000 should be enough for a president. Because you buy nothing. We do everything for you. Give you fuel, give you cars, give you housing, give you everything you need. Your clothing, your toothpaste and toothbrush. Everything is paid for by the Gambian people.
And a very handsome after-office package.
Absolutely,
which,
absolutely. So you've got to be content. You've got to be content. That's why this gentleman came to us in 2021 and said he had $200 million in his account. And we say, where did you get it from? Your salary for 5 years is $30 million. Where did the other $170 million come from?
He's got friends who are in business,
That's called corruption. That's called corruption. And for a president, you are not allowed. This was the gentleman who was driving around in a four-wheel drive and said, it's brand new. It was given to me by Wage. And I was like, can somebody tell him that's corruption? The head of state is not allowed to take those gifts from people? But the guy is swimming in a sea of illegality and he doesn't even know it. He cannot accept a car as a gift from even a citizen, let alone a foreigner.
But the president of the United States went to where? Was it Dubai? And he was given
UAE. Exactly.
Yeah.
But you see the outcry about it. Yes, you see the outcry, the backlash on Trump, because it's illegal. The laws everywhere prevent that. The emolument clause in the U.S. doesn't allow it. Trump is violating all the laws in the book, of course, but that's Trump. But in the Gambia here, we want to make sure that we have a president that will obey our positive laws.
From the UDP's perspective, how free and fair was the recent voter registration? And, especially in capturing new voters?
Absolutely, very good. Peter, we have been a very harsh critic of IEC. But this time round, I doff my hat to them.
Oh.
Yep. See, and that's what I keep saying. We criticize when criticism is due. And that makes it incumbent on us also to say bravo when you do well.
True.
And we have been very critical of IEC. Everybody knows that. But this time round, what they did, I was impressed.
What did they do?
When the registration started, people like Sid and Jai were showing up in polling in registration centers with minors, with foreigners trying to register them. And IEC officials were telling them, can I see your records? And Sid and Jai would come, no, IEC has no right to do this. I said, we are entitled to ask at least some questions to ascertain. Because the law says the documents they produce must be valid and authentic. So you need to ascertain the validity and the authenticity of those documents. Somebody comes up with a birth certificate for 2024, 2025. The elongated ones with the red stamp?
Yes.
That's not authentic, it's not valid. Because those birth certificates were stopped in February or 28th February 2023. So if you show up with a birth certificate for 2024 and 2025, that's not valid or authentic. So they have the right to question you, to stop you. You come with an attestation delivered by an alcalo in Basse, for example, and you come to London Corner to register. So you cannot register here. This was given to you by somebody in Basse. You have to get it from here. You come to the IEC, we give an attestation, you take it to us. So they were doing their job. There were times even their own staff were being resistant, and anytime it happened, our colleagues would call us, and every time I call any of them, I pestered them. I would call Joe Colley, I would call Cherno Jalo, I would call Sambuja Njai. Anytime I call them and say, look, your guys in location X, I refuse to give our colleagues the data they are entitled to. They say, hold the line. Sometimes they will call that person whilst I'm on the phone.
Oh, very good.
And say, give them the data, they are entitled to it. That's what the law says. And they would give it to our people. Because we agreed with the IEC that every political party who has agents in those registration centers should have, at the beginning of the day, the first person that was registered, the names and details, and the last person that was registered. And at the end of the day, they tell them also how many people were registered. And during the registration process, if Peter comes and we think, no, Peter is not Gambian, there's something wrong here, or Peter is a minor, our agents are required to let him or her, let Peter get his registration done. Once it's done, they turn to the IEC official and say, I want Peter's coordinates, because I think he's a minor or I think he's a foreigner, and we're going to go to revising courts for that. And IEC officials would give them those details. So we were having that all over the country to prepare for the revising courts. So in some cases, you have some very sycophantic people that would say, no, we're not giving it to you. And other people say, oh, no, we're entitled to that. That's what the law says. So they would call me and I call them and we have it.
You mentioned the revising courts. I mean, I hope what happened in 2021 will not happen this year.
No.
When the revising courts, were open to everybody, nobody, made use of them. And then after the election, we started having complaints about, voter registration fraud and all of that.
And that's why I say the IEC this year is doing a pretty good job. Because before the registration started, Hussein Udabo led a team. Hussein Udabo, our two of our names, I'm Alaji S. Dabo, Fat Cham, myself, Motsar, and our IT team. We went and sat with them. And we told them what we expect, what we thought is wrong, and we showed them the wrong things that happened in 2021 registration.
You showed them?
Yeah, we have it all in our database is loaded with those things.
Okay.
We went there, we showed them, we said, these are the irregularities that happen, these are the long things that happen. And we hope that there will be a repetition of that this year. We discussed all of that, and we had a very good meeting with them for 2.5 hours, so we agreed on a number of things. So now we agreed also that once the results were completed and compiled, they would give it to the parties before it's published.
Okay.
So we have time to vet and do certain things. Because once you publish the results in the in the registration centers, some people just rush out there and tear up the documents.
Okay.
So they don't have anybody scrutinizing them. So we will have those documents ahead of time. We will scrutinize them, all the parties. And we will be ready for the revising courts. And we are ready. In addition, the IEC has put in place monthly consultation fora with all the stakeholders. So during that, we discuss the issues. What are the problems? What are the perspectives, possible difficulties we could encounter? And we deal with them ahead. So now we're going to have that. We're going to get our documents, and we're going to prepare for revising courts, and we're going to revising courts. Because revising courts get set up once there are applications. If there are no applications, they don't set up revising courts.
Okay.
But just to conclude on that, even the act, the election act that just came out in November last year, there was an error somewhere in form called the different forms, form 1, 2, 3, 4. Form 4 had an error in it, well, not an omission. And you know who detected it?
No.
Hussein Udabo.
Oh.
Because this gentleman goes through everything. He was betting, he saw that form 4, part of it was missing. So we are, with the IEC, trying to correct that error. They realize it's an error. Okay. So we're going to do that,
so that will benefit everybody.
Everybody. Oh, so we're going to go to revising courts and submit the cases that need to be looked at, and then we decide what to do with them, and we move forward.
Okay.